Hello, everybody. I just kind of wanted to give you an update of you have seen one or two videos of um, when I left my job and I had no backup plans back in April of 2025. Um, so yes, I have like I said, I had already a job. It was just like an on-call position before I decided to leave my other job because I was having a lot of issues with my coworkers and to the point that they were saying that I was stealing the gloves at work. Um, those are just like examination gloves, like doctor's office gloves, and they went to that extent. They were so bored because they sat at work and they didn't do anything, and they were that bored to just come up with stuff that like that. I would always look for something to do at my job, and they were just sitting by the wall like this staring at me do circles around them. And one day I said, you know what, I'm just gonna leave. I was already craving, I live near Los Angeles, California, and I'm an hour, maybe over an hour away from Los Angeles, California. And as you know, Los Angeles, California, it's the coast. You get to see the Pacific Ocean, the beaches. And I was working and I said, I want to go by the beach. I want to go by the sun and see the waves. So, like I told you in the other videos, and I don't want to be redundant, I left the job, and I before I left, I just wanted to have like a year-round job on call where I could, like, the end of the school year, I could go work in the summer there. Lucky, when I started having problems in my previous job, the one I left in April, um, my name had been in the calling system for so long that I was getting up on the top up there where the calling system was starting to call me a little bit more than when I first was placed in the call system. So when I decided to quit my other job, I went straight to that, and I was able to pick up jobs where I was near the airport of Los Angeles, which is right there by the coast, and I was driving up there and getting paid, and that turned out into a full-time position, and I was working pretty much every day, and I was making the same amount of money as where I left my other jobs. I mean, I was scared because I had my bills to pay, and I had you know, I'm like, what if I end up homeless? I don't mind because now that I go work over there, sometimes I stay in my car, like I mentioned before, and oh, it's like camping. I get such a restful night and I love it. But I don't want to be sleeping in the car too much. And just like I said, I left the job and I found the other one. I've been paying my bills, I've been paying my food, my gas, oil changes for the car. It's been nice, but again, I picked up a job where there's a lot of women there, and you know, I don't know. I don't want to generalize that women are competitive and um, in nature. Maybe, we're all humans, we're all competitive, we all want our best, but we most of the time don't try. So I've been, encountering that, and like I said, I'm Hispanic, and I don't think the fact that I'm Hispanic, it's they're being they're discriminating against me because I'm getting most of the bullying from people who are Hispanic. So I think it's just women. We're competitive. Sometimes I walk in with my university shirt, and I think that's what you know. It's like a trigger for them, and I think I get all the toxicity that I get because of me, because I trigger those people. Maybe they want to go to a university and they want to do good, and they can. They have other things to do, we're all going through a lot, and maybe like nowadays going to school is very expensive. When I graduated college, 20 years ago, I did not pay a lot, and I paid my way through college. I did not want any financial aid. Being an immigrant, I always was taught that we don't take money from the places that we go to. We pay our way to school, we pay our meals. We do not actually, my just my culture. I don't think in general all Hispanics are like that, but my parents brought me up as not taking anything from anybody, working for everything that I get, working for my food, not asking people for food, and working for everything. So, I don't want to veer away from where I'm talking about, but yes, I found my job. I'm paying my bills. It's going okay. I'm just gonna, go ahead and make another video on. I'm not advocating that you leave your job and that, like me, you're gonna find another one and be able to pay your bills and, do everything. I'm just saying what happened to me. I actually recommend that you don't leave your job unless you have found something that you think it's gonna work out for you. Do it, because I'm gonna give you an update. About a month ago, I think I went through a depression after leaving my old job because I did not want to get on camera. I was feeling horrible. And if you see my other videos, I leave alone. Um, for some reason, living alone is not. I love it. I like, the fact that I can do whatever I want at home. But I did go through a period of depression, but I'm out of it already. I feel okay. I feel better. I actually took 2 days off work. I didn't go to work this two last days because I took an assignment way in Hollywood, California, and I was commuting instead of staying there. Um, I was commuting back and forth for an hour and a half to that job because I just didn't want to stay over there. And I got a little I'm in my 50s, and I got a little like sore and like a little overwhelmed because I was working with some really person who complained about everything in the job, everything. If I didn't wipe the table right, she was complaining that the table was dirty, and she wasn't even my supervisor. She was another coworker, but she was a permanent employee instead of me being the on-call person. So I was a little exhausted, and I'm about to have interviews, and I already have a job lined up for August. So it's not going to be an on call. It's going to be a permanent position. I'm going to cross my fingers that it works out. But um, yeah, so I just took this 2 days off, and like I told you, I don't advocate. I'm not saying that you leave your job unless you're ready. Unless most of the time, we put a lot of emotions in our jobs. I think we should just show up to work, do our jobs, don't look at anyone else, do your work, and then leave. Um, I guess I'm very sensitive, and maybe I shouldn't leave my job just because someone else decides to give me a hard day or a hard time. I should just keep going, do what I'm supposed to do, and get out of there. And like I told you, if you're working 8 hours, clock in. You know what you're supposed to be doing in the morning, do it. You know what you're supposed to be doing at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12. You know what time you're supposed to take your breaks. Do your duties. Don't bring your emotions to work, because that's what makes a work site toxic. Bringing your baggage to work. People are going to do it. Your coworkers are going to do it. It doesn't mean that you have to. Try not to leave your job. Try to like take the emotions out of your job before you leave it. um But if you do have to go, go ahead. For me, it worked out, but I don't know if it's gonna work out for you guys. I have three different certificates, and I go from different certificate to different certificate, and every place is toxic. But it's because we bring our emotions. Try not to. Okay, so I'm gonna do another video of my family situation. That's something else. I'll see you next.